for coming. So there are 11 persons here has eagerness to join with our delightful discussions. Today discussion uh is absolutely our Kalak Aji bring this topic that's called by demystifying the myth economy. I suppose that 2 weeks before also we talked about the economic sides that is really interesting to be continued. And today Aji will be our moderators to bring us in highly imaginations about economics exactly. So there are the several rules before we're conducting our discussions that will given by Aji. And the rule is, yeah, firstly, all of you have to mute your microphones. Yeah, all of you have to mute your microphone before you are allowed to speak up. And you are not able to give your statements directly if the moderator doesn't allow you to speak up. And the third, focus on the topic of discussions. Yeah, watch out because when you are other topics, the moderators in this case they will be able to cut your statement. So please stay in the topic. And the fourth, the hosts are capable of cutting your statement if the moderator thinks that's enough. So it's the reason that you have to make it simple your statement. Don't be around the bus and trying to go straight to the point. And in the fifth is you are encouraged to be active in discussions. So don't be afraid because all of us here, we are studying, and don't worry if there is a statement that will be wrong. We are together trying to correct you, and we're trying to study together in this case. So there is no superhero here. Is the reason that we don't have a speaker. The speaker is all of us, and we only have one moderator, and the moderator is Aji tonight. And the last is, if you want to speak up, please raise your hand. Yeah, if you see on the screen there is a participants and you click it, and you will see raise hand in the right side of your screen. So if you want to speak up, please click button of the raise hand in the, yeah, on your screen exactly. So right now, for all of you, I'd like to take the simulations that trying to uh, push the raise hand button in your right side. Okay, thank you. Please. Okay, Angga has raised his hand. Ahmad Fatullah, Hassan, thank you. Kudori, thank you. Eka, thank you. Laudia, thank you. Please don't lower your hand first. Please raise your hand. So I want to try to check how many people here doesn't understand how to raise their hand. Okay, Ariel, please raise your hand. Ariel, so if you want to speak up, you can raise your hand on that notifications. Okay, thank you. All of us has raised our hand. So this is the way, if you want to speak up, please raise your hand. So don't directly to speak up before you raise your hand, and after you raise your hand, you will be pointed by our moderators. So thank you so much. And without any delay, I'd like to give the floor directly to Mr. Kar Aji Max. You may have the floor.
Okay, thank you for the introduction, Mr. Indre. But it's good as long as you're not calling me Grand Max. Okay, Grand Aji Max is like a car. Okay, I should screen my presentation first. This one. Okay. Oh, wait. Have you seen my presentation? Okay, today I'm gonna talk about demystifying the economic myth. When you're going to all of the universities in Indonesia, they are telling you, they are teaching you about a false understanding of economics. Even not only on universities, even on the policymakers, even on the usual mainstream media, they were telling you in a garbage economics. So in this time, I would like to share the sphere of the knowledge that it should be understood by all of the people, not only for economists, but also for usual people, how the economy is running well. The first is I want to send you a quote from Henry Ford. Henry Ford ever said, when it is well enough that people of a nation do not understand our banking and monetary system, for if they did, I believe there would be a revolution before tomorrow morning. So this is how pivotal the economic understanding in our now economical knowledge that is pivotal. We should not follow the mainstream one. Before we are not going to the mainstream, we should understand what is the alternative one. And this is the time for us to learn together about this alternative. And I will bring this topic with giving you an opportunity to explore your ideas, and later I will redirecting you in the right way when you get wrong, or just enlarge it when you get right. Okay. This is the second slide. I have six. I have six main topics tonight, but the most important things is in the third topics, in the first third topics. Fourth, fifth, and sixth, it is additional. When we have enough time, we will tell it. We will discuss it. But the first important is the first third. The first is about definition of money. The second is why money is accepted. The third is about the belief. It could be false. It could be wrong. I will give you remarks in this part. It means I will give it is false or not, and just give it your reason. When you think it is false, when you think it is right. Okay, the first. I would like to tell you, I would like to ask you first, before I give you direction, understanding this one. The first, money, by the definition, is a medium of exchange. Okay, I will give you remarks. Do you agree or disagree with that? When you disagree, when you have other opinion, just share it. When you agree with this, share your idea, or yeah, share your opinions. Okay, I give you a time now for sharing your idea. When you wanna, okay, okay, I see Mr. Indre Wano. Okay, Indre, time is yours now.
Yeah, so this is the things that I learned when I was elementary school until I graduated from my universities. Exactly, the definition of money is the medium of exchange. How to doing the transactions, how to do a kind of the thing, how to pay something and others. But I don't know behind that. What is that?
Okay.
I give back to Aji.
Okay. It's interesting because in all of the curriculum of economics, money is taught being as a medium of exchange. Okay, maybe the other want to share their opinion. I want to point out to Emma. Emma.
Okay, as far as I've known, money is something medium of exchange, and I don't have any other ideas since my lecture back then told me that yeah, money is issued by government, and also it is the something that by law it is approved to buy something only by money. Okay, only that.
Yes, that's very nice. Okay, Afida, and then Eka. Afida first.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. In my opinion, money is a representative of value of thing. Thank you.
Representative value of thing. Yeah, it is same. It's called medium of exchange. Okay, Eka, Mr. Eka.
for me, money is like competitiveness, and then the rational power, and then money is about binding interest.
Binding interest. Okay, representing the power. Nice definition. Okay, the next, Angga. What do you think about money, Angga?
Yes, money I think is not simply use value, isn't it right? Money is only exchange value. It means that money is something that you need to get um, stuff, to get something necessary, like food, clothes, and so on. It means that money is actually useless if we um, see the root of money. If we take a look at the history of money from historical materialism perspective, money is actually not always needed by the people. In the past, people could use many many things, like they did barter, right? They did many methods in terms of getting their needs in the past. However, because there was no other effective rules to exchange your stuffs in the past, therefore human back then, because they had you know um, the brain, they have different brain from animals. Therefore, they thought twice to get the effective exchange back then. Actually, there were several things before money. Actually, there was gold in the past, but however, gold wasn't effective enough in the past as the exchange thing. Therefore, people decided to use coins in the past, right? But there was a problem as well. Coin was couldn't be saved properly by the people. Therefore, hence people in the past tried to find another way to save their main the things that they can use to change their the needs. So therefore, in the past, a human created what's so called money today. So I think if we take a look at the needs of the people, like food, how do we say, house, and shelter and so on. Actually, money is not necessary at all if we see the root of the emergence of money. Yeah, it is my beginning. Thank you, Mr. Aji.
Okay, thank you so much to all of you guys. I give you one opportunity more. To anyone want to speak up before I'm explaining what is the definition of money. Okay, I think it's not. Okay, I will. Okay, Mr. Laude first. Mr. Laude, I couldn't hear you, I guess. I still unable to hear you. Is that my signal wrong?
I cannot hear Mr. Laude as well.
Yeah, so do I. Maybe you have a problem with your microphone, perhaps.
You can
should-
release it, sir, Laude.
Mr. Laude, maybe you can plug out your earphone and just directly speak up.
Or you can leave the
Okay,
Zoom
okay.
first and then try to join in again, Mr. Laude. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Okay, maybe I'd like to continue it first. So, the basic understanding that having spread through the monetization, through the new Keynesian, through the all of the new understanding which is false in understanding what the role of money is. This one. Wait. Money is tax credit. Money is not medium of exchange. It is a unit of account. Oh. Oh. Okay. I will give you opportunity later, Mr. Laude. Okay. It is unit of account issued by a unit of scorekeeper. It could be a palace in the past, a temple, or even a state for now. Money is never appearing from the barter. This is possible because when we look at the history since 5,000 years ago in the time of Sumeria or Babylonia, Mesopotamia we call it, there is no evidence that money is coming from helicopter drop or call it barter. It is always issued by an authority. Money is tax credit. When you read the books from the dead in the 5,000 years or the book from Michael Hudson, the previous is from David Graeber, the second is from Michael Hudson about forgive them their debts. Money is never going out from a barter. The clear evidence back then, yes, back then, temple or palace issue the money unit of account through sticks, through leaves, through coins, whatever it does. It is never going outside from the authority. When we look at a case when there is no nation, I mean, like in small community in this world, they were unable to create money. Money is always coming out from state authority. So after this, I will give the exact example after this. But this is the basic definition that is totally all of the professors of economic in Indonesia, maybe not in Indonesia, even almost in all of the world, even for the Nobel Prize winner, always said money is medium of exchange. Money is nothing. Money is matter. Their curriculum, for example, in the SGE, dynamic stochastic equilibrium, money is nothing. So that's why there is no inherently financial crisis in that understanding of equilibrium, because money is just delivering the value. It's not for the commitments of every unit in economics. When a firm has a debt through paying is a debt, they will get default. But there's no explanation about that. There's no instability inside of that curriculum. I will tell it in the next opportunity maybe. But the basic definition is money is a tax credit. Next. This is right. When you see this, the picture below, there's a coin, there is a golden, there is money in our history, Japan money, Orang Republik Indonesia, Ori money, Orida, Nika, and Rupiah. All of this money is not coming from barter, it's coming from a state of an authority. Okay, there's a clear definition of money. Okay, the next question. Why money is accepted? Why do you want to hold this paperless money? Your money is not having a value, it's just a paper. But why? You're accepting it and why you can utilize it. Anyone wanna share their opinion, idea? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's wrong or not, it doesn't matter. You should practice of English.
Can
Why?
I ask,
Yeah.
Adi?
Yes, enggak.
What was the basic condition? Why did the authority in the past issue the money in your viewpoint?
Okay, money is tax credit, the first, like this. Money, state authority has a provision power. For example, when a temples back then, or state right now, or palaces, when directing people to work in the plantation, to work as a soldier in the war, they issue the currency. Oh, it will answering the second question, I guess, but no problem. They issue the currency. When you want to work, do the provision that I've provided, you should work on that, and then you can obtain my money. So the people asking, for what the money I hold? I don't need that money. I can, planting the food to myself. Why should work to you? And the end of it, because state has authority power to do loans and so forth. Okay, when you think my money is paperless, is useless. So when you want access all of the services that I've provided, sewer, watering, so on and so forth, you should pay that card. You should pay that money to me. Collect it back to me. When you're not using it, I will never accept your IOU. Your money denomination, it should be on me. When you don't want to accept it, just going out from our places. So it has been applied 5,000 years ago until now. Money is never going out from a barter. Okay, it's kind of hard, but I'm forcing it to create as simply as possible. Okay. Okay. Is that good, guy?
Yeah, I see. Yeah, it is clear now.
Okay. Now the second question: why money is accepted? Anyone want to give? Oh yeah, Mr. Afida. Sorry. Okay, Mr. Afida.
In my opinion, why I accept money as something that I use for trading maybe in my life. Yeah, because it's legal to use as one thing for trading or for exchanging something from the authority. Just it. If the authority isn't make money legal for doing trading, so I will not use money. Just it. Maybe just it. It is legal to use.
It's legal from legal authority. Okay. Anyone else want to share the idea, Mr. Kudari? Come on.
Yeah, for me, why money is accepted? Because most of people used money for buying something or for exchange the thing that it will get the food or the thing that it will be used in the daily activity. If the previously, I mean, the several years ago, most of people didn't use money for buying some food or buying thing, so they used barter way to get the thing or to get the food. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. In addition, before I give to the other speakers, barter system is always happening when a currency has devalued rapidly. It's like in hyperinflation in Venezuela, when the money is useless, is having no value anymore. When the state of government issued more than it should not be, money is devalued, and without having any value, the barter system is appearing. But before the barter system is appearing, there is always money issued by an authority. Okay, maybe the others want to answer. Bitcoin. Okay, I will answer it later. Rothschild family. Yes, indeed. Okay. Continuing in this section, why money is accepted? This is the answer. Tax drives the money accepted by the society itself. Sometimes it is forced to be actualized by using an authority instead of just implemented by legal administration and society's law consensus. Okay, the little explanation is like this. When you're parents, you have a children. It is the example that usually I always use. You need your garden clean. You need your living room clean. You need your car clean. You need your kitchen clean. You command your children to work on that, and you give this paperless money to them. The fact this is being accepted, where unless you're collecting it back. For example, when your children want access, when they use your laptop, when they use your phone, when they use your Wi-Fi, when they need everything using your motorcycle, your car, they should pay it back through this card that you spent. Okay, so why the currency is accepted? Because tax traps money. An authority collects it back from its own spending to the society. So that's why the money is being accepted. For example, when you're using dollar in our own society, because it is not to be collected by our government, your dollar is useless unless you're using it in USA, not in our country. Okay, because our country always collects rupiah, issued rupiah, so that's why we are using that currency, not using US dollar, not using ringgit, not using euro, and so on and so forth. That is the answer why money is accepted. It's kind of easy, but it is a myth in economy that always bear in every occasion that we've been fooled by the fooled economies. Okay, next. The belief number one. This is Nurmagomedov present. Yeah, you can share your opinion after this. This is, do you think that government should have an income from tax revenue before the government can spend? And Nurmagomedov, okay, this time is yours. Mr. Nurmagomedov, not Medov, right? No. Right. We should unmute it first. Ah. Maybe the other first.
Where's that fighter?
Where's the fighter? He has been retired.
Yeah. Nurmagomedov is the fighter.
Where's the fighter? Okay, maybe the others, the others. Anyone want to share the idea? Should government need tax before it can spend? Problem, just discussion. There's no wrong, there's no correct, it's just learning together. Want to share the idea? I want to point it out. Mr. Indravanov. Nice.
So the question is, should the government take tax as their income? Am I right?
Yes. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Yeah. So based on my point of view, the way how the government will try to increase their national budget is coming from the tax. Is coming from oh my God, how to say BUMN? I forgot. And also this is the way also when the government play with their monetary policy, how to get money from that. So these the reasons that tax is really indispensable, especially for each countries in the world. But the problem is how the government manage that tax to become the positive thing to the countries.
Okay, thanks, Gibo, for your opinion. Now going to Mr. Eka.
Maybe I will different opinion with Mr. Indre, because when the country or the state or the government can provide or can manage their own how to say it, sumber daya, and then they can create a good citizen or SDM, something like that. I think it's income for the government, because tax is it's like the failure how government wants to run the nation, something like that. Thank you, Aji.
Yeah, clear idea. Okay. Anyone else? I'm interesting to hear the comment from Angga. What's your opinion, Angga?
Yes, in this situation, I think yes, the government should have an income from tax in order to get the money to be used for the sake of the people. I think in this situation, but in the future, I don't know. Maybe it won't. It will change. Nevertheless, I would like to comment the previous slide. Yes, you can say that again. The authority actually forced people to use money back then. However, as far as I'm concerned, um, it is uh, it was the consequence of the history of human development. I think because in the past people couldn't use coin and gold as the medium of exchange, so they tried to find some better ways to exchange as a medium of exchange, right? But nowadays, I think, yeah, as far as we know that money is only an exchange value. It has only exchange value, not use value, right? We cannot use value as our food, as our um, home, and so on, right? It is only it contains an exchange value. Therefore, people nowadays they trying to focus on getting a lot of money, even if it is used for useless thing, right? Like buying a lot of golds and doing many unproductive things by using money and so on. So it is unproductive, I think, to only um, put the money as our main goal in the world nowadays. Yeah, but yeah, still in the past, the authority forced the people to use the medium of exchange like money. It is the consequence, I think, as human as the history of human development right now. Yeah, thank you. But in the future, I believe someday it can change when people are aware that money is useless. As you mentioned before, we can do many productive things besides using money. Thank you, Mr. Raji.
Um, okay. Money is useless unless the authority creates it is forcing to the society to accept it, to use it. Okay, Mr. Ahmad Fatullah.
Uh, yes, regarding the circumstance, then I don't have a huge understanding related to the economics, and I am still learning about this. So, in my opinion, um, government should not have, should not have gaining income just from the tax. They can create the money itself if the government is independent. But in this era, we face that there are so many governments in the world, and one currency could be, could be have the different value from one region to the other region. One nation to the other nation. So we face the name of inflation in this circumstance because of the effects from many countries in this world. So if government want to create the money, I think the way to make it is solely to unify this world to be one. Uh,
Okay. You got it. Interesting opinion. Emma. You wanna give comment to previous speakers, Emma?
Okay, I want to give the opinion regarding to the question itself. As far as I've known, if in the case like EU, yes, they should dependent with the income of tax to buy something, or they want to spend on their money, since EU they don't have an authority to their own money to produce, or they want to issue the money itself. But maybe for countries that has independent with their currency and their monetary policy, let's say like Indonesia and other countries, uh, in my opinion, I think they shouldn't dependent only with tax itself for having an income. Thank you.
Oh, interesting, interesting. That's correct one. Okay, the fact. Okay, the fact. So foreign government doesn't need revenue from tax. It operates just using keystrokes, is using keyboards in the central banks, crediting or debiting for recipient's account on its currency. For example, when the government want to buy goods and services from the society, so the recipient accounts is just being marked up by the central banks. It's using keystrokes. Money is what is going out of nothing. The restriction is self-imposed constraint. What is self-imposed constraint? Self-imposed constraint is the awareness of the policymakers, either by policymakers, either by professor, or either by society, that they think that, oh, our country unable to issue currency. Yes, it is working on European countries because they are giving up its own currency sovereignty. They are using euro. No, they are not using their own particular currency. Different in Indonesia, we are not using euro. We are not using other currencies. We are using our own currency. Okay, same like US, same like Australia, same like Japan. We are using our own currency. Government can print the money everywhere. It's like a father. I can issue my card to my children as much as I want. Right. The only constraint is just resources. Okay. So in this little graph, I would like to tell you that there are so many units. It's like household, business, state and local governments, province in our country, federal government or central governments. Central government is issuer of currency. It doesn't need to have revenue from its tax. It doesn't need to have that. Okay, like the father, I don't need to have. I don't need to have the card that I back from my children in order I can spend. I can spend it every time that I want. Okay, it's like federal government. They don't need tax revenue. After this, I will tell it more detail, but this is in the beginning. In the case of European countries, it's same like state and local governments. They are not currency issuer. They are currency user. They are user of euro. Who's the issuer? ECB. Okay, European Central Banks. We have revenue constraint. When I don't have money, I should obtain it through borrowing or through selling my assets. But government doesn't. Government doesn't. Government doesn't need. Government doesn't need everything in order to spend. Government doesn't need to have revenue in order to tax. Okay, this is the beginning. Government is currency issuer. It can issue everywhere, everything in its own currency. It doesn't need to have tax revenue, except European countries or except developing countries which have foreign denominated debt in a heavy way. But in principle, they don't need tax as a revenue when they are currency issuer. Okay, the next, belief number 2. The government seems like a household. Oh, yeah. It has a budget constraint. Means when the budget is in deficit, it means spending more than in taxes. In Indonesia term, it is belanja negara lebih daripada pendapatan negara. It's bad because it is draining the saving of private sectors. Do you agree or disagree with this statement? Is it going to be more detail? I will tell more detail after this. Do you agree or disagree with this? Maybe I want to pointing out for someone. Muhammad Hassan, what do you think, Mr. Hassan? That the government, when government in fiscal deficit spending more than it taxes, it is draining the saving of private sectors. Mr. Hassan? Or maybe it is so clear that I've told before. Oh, wait, I should open the chat. I don't get it, G. Okay, you'll get it after this. Is that? Mr. Hassan? Okay, okay. Mr. Hassan?
Actually, I don't really know about it because, but if budget is deficit, the government must find another way to keep the economics going.
I'm not so clear to hear you, but I hear it bit. Okay, government.
But give me
That's clear. That's
give me
clear.
a moment to read the question.
Okay.
Maybe you can skip and back to me the question again.
Okay.
G,
What?
can I give a question?
Yes,
What
yes.
is the private sectors that you're talking about here?
Private sectors is like usual. It's like us, household, firms. That's it. That's called private sectors domestically. Domestic household like you, firms like firms, corporations. It includes, of course, workers and other people who have income. Okay, that's called private sectors. Come back to okay. Mr. Ahmad Fatullah, what's your opinion?
Firstly, I need to know what the term of government means. I can govern my household by my own self, so it will be same as government as a household. But when we define the government as a country, so
Country, yes.
it's absolutely different from a household because the government for a country. And then, is it a huge matter to face our nation in the deficit of money? Could we find the definition of deficit money if the government can create money? In this circumstance, I think the problem is not about the deficit or the lack of money, but the problem is will the money, I mean our currency, is impacted by the other currency by other government. That is my point of view. Maybe I'm false. Thank you.
Okay. Now, Mr. Kibo.
Yeah. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, it's almost same. Government is like a household. So you can imagine that the government is like the generous family that trying to share kind of the prosperity to the people. But they are in the big families that if they have money from their business, they have money from their from their business. So they try to share. It's like the opportunity. It's like direct money and others. So it's the reason that in the government they need the way to how to scale up their business, how to scale up their income coming from the state-owned enterprises, the region-owned enterprises, and others. So when they can scale up their business, so they can give the opportunity to the people, they can give the money to the people, and also they can increase the private sectors too, even though the private sectors too in this case. So this is my assumptions.
Okay, nice. Okay, I will tell it in a bit detail. The fact budget deficit is adding net financial wealth to private sectors. What is called net financial wealth? When the government spending 100 and taxing $90, so the government is called deficits. But the non-government, like us, private sectors, household or firms, in surplus 10. So the government is different with the household. Government is currency issuer, not currency user. When you are operators of the banking in the monopoly games, when you're as a banker, you can spend the money every time you want. You're deficit, but the players of the monopoly games in surplus, right? That's called fiscal deficits. Fiscal deficit is not bad. It's not bad at all, except for European countries because they are currency user, not currency issuer. When you have confusion about this one, you can ask to me directly. And this is the explanation that the government deficit is not bad. Okay. Now we're going to the bill number 3. Fiscal surplus increases the saving on future spending of government. It's same like a household. When I have surplus from my saving, I can spend it more. But how about the government? Okay, to participant present, same. What I want to choose. Okay, Afida first.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. For me, the fiscal surplus is a kind of a huge disaster for our nation because when our government save a lot of amount of money in its currency, it will make those currency is not shared to the people, and people cannot, cannot use that money. So that money will be useless. So why fiscal surplus is important? It is so useless, and when a country has a fiscal surplus, it will be a huge disaster for that nation. Thank you.
Interesting. Interesting. The others? Huh. I found Mr. Chikonen. Mr. Chikonen, what do you think about this? Before I'm going to the others after this, Mr. Chikonen first. What's your opinion?
Okay, I think you should explain more because I don't understand what.
Okay. Fiscal surplus, it means that government taxing more than it spends. In Indonesian term, fiscal surplus is pendapatan negara lebih daripada belanja negara. It's in Indonesian term. Okay. So what do you think about that? Is bad or good? Do you think?
So can you give me an example for that, Miss
Okay.
Aji?
When you look at APBN now, just imagine APBN, which is tax revenue, is higher than the government spends the money. Pendapatan negara lebih daripada daripada pengeluaran negara, belanja negara. It's called fiscal surplus. Do you think that is good or not?
So is it the similarity with in import will be higher than export?
Something like that.
It's kind of like that. Huh?
But it's called government spending.
Yeah. Yeah. It is my opinion regarding it, but correct me if I wrong because I don't understand well about the theory of economics. But I think it will be difficult, especially in our our condition today, like a pandemic. So the society will more keep their money to buy something that is basic commodities for them. For example, like rice, oil, palm oil, or others, and they will not change the technology like the technology, the handphone will come out as soon as possible. Like there is the new brand every single time. So for the developed country like Indonesia, they will keep their money to save it because they don't know the money will what's that will be lost or will be finished when they don't keep it. So it will be decrease. What's that? Pendapatan negara. How we can call it?
Tax, just call
Yeah.
tax. It's the same.
Yeah. It will tax especially for GDP in Indonesia because the more you buy something, so the more revenue for the government is. I think is it.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chikonik. Participants. The first is Kibo and then Eka. Kibo first.
Yeah, based on my concerns, if there is no equilibrium between the features, the spending of the money and also um, the money of the government, so it's called by the bad situations, because in the situations the government have to find the equilibrium, how to spend that money, how to get the money too. So it's the reason that if there is no equilibrium between the spending and also the income, so it'll try to make this country what get the disadvantages from that situations. So it's the reason that many countries like USA sometimes they yeah they have a debt, but another situation they try to spend that money how to get more income from that. So if we talk about in this situation in the pandemic ways, Indonesia get deficit. So it's the reason that this country trying to give the fiscal policy is like try to decrease the interest rate of the country. How to make many investors come to our country. So when we got so many investors, it'll trying to stabilize our economic sectors. So it'll trying to make Indonesia will be out from the economic crisis. So this is my assumptions.
Thank you, Kibo. We will talk about investment after this in the belief number 5. If I'm not wrong. Okay, Mr. Eka.
Before I answer, I just want to know saving for who? For the government
The
or
government.
for the government? Okay. For in my perspective, I think fiscal surplus means that the government manage the economic well. I think so because when the fiscal surplus, it means that uh, the economic practically good in a good way, in good situations. I think it's not increase the saving, but when the government came with surplus result, they will try to making some projects, some strategic projects. Means like maybe they will build infrastructure or maybe they will invest in other countries. But uh, for for uh, for for many times that when just like for example when Bill Clinton as a last term president, the first time in decades United States is surplus, and then Bill Clinton has some policy to increase the social medical care, something like that. I think it's not about saving because the surplus he has to has to terus berputar in the situation to run the government. Thank you, Ji.
Oh yeah, interesting. I will tell about Clinton after this. I have a graph of Clinton. Okay, Mr. Angga. Then Mr. Sani. Mr. Angga first.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Aji. I just wanna try to deliver an example from what Mr. Eka said before. So after the Bolivian Revolution, Venezuela, led by Hugo Chavez, right? Back then, they had surplus from oil, right? Oil surplus, and they got a plethora of income from oil, and the country earned a lot of budgets to be spent to the productive sectors like education and subsidized many sectors. Therefore, the prosperity of people in Venezuela in the beginning of 21st century was quite higher due to the surplus of oil. Therefore, as long as government could could do or could run the economic well, I think um, it can be beneficial for their citizens. Yes, it is my short viewpoint regarding this.
Okay,
Yeah, thank you.
thank you, Mr. Angga. Yes, yes, yes. That's interesting example. Now, Mr. Sunny.
I guess it's a little bit hard to talk about fiscal surplus when it comes to Indonesia as developing country, because so far as I believe, to earn these positions or to reach this stage, a country, be it developing or developed, they need to have a like stabilized fiscal growth. Okay, looking at this, we know that in Indonesia itself, we still unable to overcome our routine problems like the high rate of unemployment and more importantly, especially in the midst of pandemic, we need to. It's a little bit hard to talk about the rising income that can be given to the citizens or workers themselves, and that's why if we talk about alih-alih bicara tentang how to say, we do not have to say but saving, ladies and gentlemen. We still need to talk about how to get fiscal surplus, which is actually so impossible. Fiscal surplus will likely happen if a government or a country can cut can cut their yearly spending or their annual spending, which is actually impossible for Indonesia right now, since we have a very strong reliance to it. How to say without debt? Yeah. Um, we're in debt, ladies and gentlemen, and more importantly, we need to see and consider the ability of the government itself to manage, to fight over the poverty, how to arouse or stimulate the overall people consumption rate. So, if we are unable to do that, I believe that fiscal surplus will not likely will not likely happen, and we do not have to talk about saving on future spending, because in the meantime, if Indonesia will not change their adaptability to the current demands in the economic terms, I believe talking about saving on future spending for Indonesia is inevitably impossible. I think that's for me. Thank you.
Interesting, Mr. Sunny. Okay, I'm gonna continue about this belief. The fact, budget or fiscal surplus, budget or fiscal surplus reduces the net financial wealth on non-government private sectors. It is different, I guess, with a trade surplus. When you have export more than it is than import, it's good, beneficial, like in Bolivia, it's trade surplus. But for the fiscal surplus, it is bad, because when we look at a little example of this before we're gonna talk about the balance sheet and so forth. When the government spending 90 and taxes 100, it means the non-government sectors like us as a household, as a firm, as a workers will be deficits in 10, and the government surplus in 10. But the problem, government doesn't need revenue. When government issues its own currency, they don't need revenue. Like me as a father, when I spend my card to my children, I don't need revenue from this, but my children need to access all the various services that I provide to them. So the fiscal surplus is awful. Okay, I'm gonna talk about it. Someone before tell about the Clinton era and so forth. Okay, I have the crowd of this. Before that, it is the basic understanding of the three sectoral balances. Three sectoral balances, it contains the first public sectors called government, the second is private sectors, us, from household, the third is foreign sectors. All of them should be equal zero. It means when the public sector surplus for minimum, one another should be in deficit, or it could be twice in deficits. And it is impossible for all of the sectors have surplus. Okay, this is the example. When the U.S. government spends 100 and then tax it back 90, U.S. government in deficit 10. It doesn't matter because U.S. government is the issuer of the currency. Now we have U.S. private sector surplus 10, but because foreign sectors obtain 2, it means private sectors import more than it exports. Okay, from 10. Sorry, how could I say it? Okay, spend the money outside. It means buy goods and services outside. It means imports. And export less 3. Foreign sector surplus 2. But we have still 8 surplus obtained from the US government deficits. When we sum all of this surplus and minus, the equal is 0. Okay. Still, anyone understand? Still confused about this? It's easy, right? Okay, it's easy. Wait. I should hear some of our conversation when someone is still. Okay. The first is the previous example is telling about 2 sectoral balances, government and private sectors. And government in deficit 10, non-government sector surplus 10. Okay. So now we are in government. We are in private. When the private imports more than it exports, it means we have deficit. But how much deficits? In this example, US private sectors imports 5. I mean, buy goods and services from abroad. 5. It means when you're doing import, you spend your money to abroad, right? You spend the money to abroad. And you have obtained goods and services from abroad. It's called import. But the foreign sectors only buy goods and services from for the US, only 3. Okay, so foreign sectors export 2. US private sectors obtain 8. Still in surplus, even though it less 2 minus because it is minus from export more than it exports. But the private sector is still in surplus. Maybe I'm confusing for this. I just understand, but I will take the private class with GG later. Okay. How I say it? Okay. It is easy actually. When the private sectors, like the last time, private sectors buy goods and services 5.
Probably you can give an analogy, G.
Okay, like this. Okay, like this with this one. Okay, this government deficits to private sectors. Yes, okay, it has 10. It is deficit. Okay, forget this deficit, forget. It is surplus 10. And this one, imports 5 from this. When a country doing imports, it means foreign sectors. Just let's say it is Indonesia, this Malaysia. Malaysia obtain 5, right? This Indonesia doing imports to this obtain money 5. This is, only 5 and 5. Okay. But Malaysia now decides to import from Indonesia. Is Malaysia pays it back the money to Indonesia, but not 5. Malaysia only spends 3. So Malaysia still have 2, but the 3 coming back to Indonesia, and we have 8. Okay, is still being understood? Okay. Okay. It is easy actually. When we summarize all of the surplus and the minus, the equal is 0. Wait, I should open the chat first. Okay. Someone saying to me privately, without you explain it more, I understand it beyond my brain. What the hell? Okay. Nice. Okay, this one. This is the graph. Don't think it is hard, it's easy. It's only 3 sectors. When we summarize all of these things, it will be 0. It will be 0. It will be 0. Everything will be 0. Okay. This is Clinton surplus. Clinton surplus is followed by the recession. What is the sign of the recession? When the domestic private sectors like us in deficits, we are gonna go to recession. So government balance in surplus, fiscal surplus, it is unsustainable, except when you have surplus on trade. Okay, the Clinton surplus is bad, is followed by recession. This is the first history in USA, but when you look at the history previously, all of the surplus is causing depression. 1930s is the example that surplus in fiscal budget is causing depression. It is same to other countries. When the government in surplus, private sector in deficit. When foreign is surplus, when foreign is deficit, government deficit, private sector will be increased. Okay, this is same. Basically, this is same. Corporation household is same private sectors. But the important graph is when the government in the almost surplus, everything will be downturn. When the government fiscal balance in deficits, so huge deficits, everything will be gone up, including private sectors. Same, it is Japan. Now the interesting thing, it is coming from my data. I found nothing in our BPS, in Treasury, nothing. I just found it by myself. Indonesia sectoral balances. Okay, Indonesia sectoral balances is pivotal, I guess. This is government balance. Why we have depression back then? Because since 1995, government balance in surplus. Also foreign balance in surplus. Foreign balance in surplus, it means we are importing more than it exports. Okay, so the domestic private sectors in deficits. And in 1998, there's a chaos. Fortunately, after that, Habibie changed the policy fundamentally to have surplus, even more surplus in the Gus Dur era this time. Until Mega is still in surplus. But after that, it's going to be unstable. This is the little sign in the Great Depression, global financial crisis in 2008. This is a sign. Where's my, this is a sign. Okay. The idea is deficits is sustainable. More deficit is sustainable. Of course, we should consider later about interest rates and so forth. But the idea is deficit is matter, is important. Okay. Moreover, when you have surplus in your trade, okay. Wait, I should read on the chat. The rise of Trump. Yeah. US. Oh, I still have a point about this. I will tell a bit about Trump later. What is the sense of trade war? I will tell later. This is so easy. Okay. Is that anyone still being confused about this graph? Perhaps. Okay, I guess all of the people, all of the audiences understand very well about this. Okay, Ms. Ravida.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. Actually, I'm not quite understand related to this topic quite well. I will make it more simple. I am a producer of shoes, and I have friend who produce clothes in Japan. I make it simple, and then I I export my shoes to my friend in Japan, and I import the clothes from Japan to Indonesia for me. So what will happen to our country because of my trading from one nation to the other nation? That is my first question. And then how in this graph, my consideration is just one. Uh, the only one who give a huge impact to our domestic private sector balance actually is not government balance but foreign balance. So how to make our foreign balance usually in the bottom of zero? Thank you.
Okay, good. How much amount impacting our country from your trade? When your amount, when you're exporting 10, just let's say $10, okay, while you importing only 5, you have surplus of 5. Despite about the quantities, but the price. When you spend, when you export 10, okay, you have 10. When you import 5, you spend your $5 to foreigners, but now you still hold $5 in your pocket, okay. And this come back to this graph. All of the things, including private, domestic sectors, government balance, foreign balance is important. How to make foreign balance in deficits? It means we should export more than its import. Okay. Foreign balance is representing your friend in Japan. When in the same case, in your case, okay, your foreign balance deficit $5. It means private domestic sectors. It means called you have surplus of 5, right? Foreign balance is telling about your friends in Japan. Is they is he having a deficit or not? When he has deficit, you have surplus, right? Okay, the other before we go into the next explanation, Mr. Eka first.
So Aji, I just wanna ask you. You said that when we have a surplus, surplus, fiscal surplus, and then after the fiscal surplus, and then there will be decrease. How do you say it? Deflation. Be-
Mm.
the flow is going down, and so what's the good? It's being surplus, it being balance, or when the private sector is more surplus, or the government balance is surplus. I still don't get it which one, because with the data after the surplus there will be decreation, something like that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Eka. It depends on the interaction between the foreign sectors and private sectors, domestic private sectors. When domestic private sectors in surplus and foreign sectors in deficits, U.S. government it could be in deficit or it could be in surplus. When we so worry about inflation, U.S. government could be in surplus, but don't ever erase the surplus on the private domestic sectors. Okay, when the private domestic sectors is in deficit because Mr. Afida lost his own exporting 5 and then importing 10, it means Mr. Afida minus 5. So the U.S. government deficit should prepare this his situation to be in surplus. It means for minimum, U.S. government should be deficit same 5. So the private domestic sector is in balance. When government needs thing, it is not sufficient. U.S. government sectors could be deficit 10, and then Mr. Afida can have 5 in surplus. Okay, the surplus or deficits in the government budget depends on how much surplus or deficits in other sectors. But the most pivotal consideration is on domestic private sectors. Because when we have a deficit on that, of course, the recession will be happen in our country. Okay, the other, Mr. Sani, Mr. Sani.
So I just want to respond to the questions given by Vida in regard to the ways to diminish the power imbalance. Okay, to topple the power imbalance, I believe that something that can be done for the government is that firstly, how to consume less or saving more. By doing this, I believe that the government will try to decrease the consuming of excessive, the existence of excessive consumption. Okay, I believe that even though building infrastructure somehow becomes something our government prioritize the most, okay, but looking at this condition right now, uh, we cannot just uh, put all those debt as a burden for the next generations, but at the very least, something that need to be done by the government is that how they can become responsible toward the debts that they took over the foreign. Okay, and the next one is that um, to how to say, oh my goodness, yeah, and to reduce the foreign balance, something that can be done is by, for example, um, uh, manage the tax capital. Okay, because if we do not know how to cut the use of excessive or useless tax uses, okay, we are going to enable to use our um, tax efficiently, and it comes it still strongly relies on how the ability of the governments to enforce the law, because so far the excessive spendings done by the government is believed taken by some corruptors or some corrupted politicians. Unable to cope with such matter, we're going to be absorbed in this repeated calamity over and over. Okay, so I don't know, in this kinds of regime, our movements not only as not as the last like society as the last resort find it so hard to control or to give particular influence toward the governments, because the government itself, rather than serving the populations, they try to dominate and show off their authority toward the society. And I believe that if we do not change the conditions based on those two things, I believe that frame balance will like inextricably change. Okay, yeah. So in regard to tax spendings, we need to have a very clean government's economic growth. And second one, based on yeah, the spending. Okay, so the governments, we still have about 4 years or 3 years ahead with our current governments. The governments, we need to control and push the governments to think about how to pay back all the spendings, all the foreign debts that they have been taking so far. I think that's for me. Thank you.
Interesting. Mr. Afida, you've raised your hand. Do you wanna?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe I'm still confusing because okay. Mostly maybe I understand what is the discussion is derived, but um, if the problem is about which one is the more import and export, let me back to my story again. Me and Mr. Taro agree that we will use rupiah as the currency for trading, not dollar, not yen in this trading. But unfortunately, I export 3 shoes and I import 5 clothes. Is it beneficial to Indonesia or not?
Beneficial. Okay. I will tell a bit about this. I will tell it later. When your currency is demanded, it is same like US. Your example is exactly same with US. When US has a deficit in its own export and import, it means imports more than exports. Other country will accumulate the dollars. It means, for example, China with US. US has huge deficit to China, and China now hold the US dollar, okay? Now, what China want to do with this cash of US dollar? China thinks, oh my God, when I hold this one, every year, this currency will be devalued. So what should I do? Okay, I want to change this US cash to treasury bonds, because the treasury bonds China obtains called interest payment. Okay, interest payment. The Fortunately, the interesting part is when you ask in deficits, when you ask in deficits, the deficit is not going out from the Fed. So even though China holds deficit, these deficits, the deficit is still inside of the Fed account. Is in the Fed account still. Okay, the Fed can pay it back just through keystroke, just through the printing the money, because the money is not outside of its own denomination in dollar. When come back to your example, when your friend using rupiah because the rupiah is demanded, it is same. They are holding rupiah. You're like doing trading with me, your domestic friend, because both of you still using rupiah. Okay, it doesn't matter. When the deficit is like that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You still have a surplus here. It's not causing problematic in your current account, in your foreign balance. It doesn't matter. Exceptional. But sadly, in most of developing countries, we are not using our own currency. We are using dollar. We are using other currencies such as yuan also. That's why it is kind of big traumatic. And I will tell it later in my blogs. I will write down about this. Oh, wait, before. Mr. Chikoneng. Oh, wait. Mr. Avila, is that clear?
Clear.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Chikoneng.
Yeah, actually, I will not give the statement for that, but I wanna ask something because at the previous policy that government give to the society, like the subsidy, for example, like prakerja, prakerja card, it is like the subsidy economic sector, especially for the unemployment. And the other hand, like following issue is like the subsidy for the microeconomy business or UMKM that is happen to all of the region. So for this problem is the government will sustain a balances of the private sector and the government sector. So there is the implication between that subsidy, because when the society get that economy, so they can buy more than as usual, so that it will what's that with surplus at the private sector, or it will decrease the government sector, or it will decrease the foreign sector, for
Okay.
regarding your explanation. And the second is I think the good thing that we can imitate like the Europe for the currency. Euro use the euro as their currency because they will be make a balance to the dollar system. So should Asia utilize or imitate the euro currency, like there is the Asia currency that will be defeat the dollar or yuan in the future?
Okay, two questions. The first, when the government spends more money for various programs, it could be job guarantee or healthcare services or tax payment. Oh, no, sorry, incentive payments such as prakerja. When the government coming to the deficit, it is good because it is creating the surplus in private domestic sectors. But this should be questioned because where is the money going for? When the money is going for the oligarchies, it is just causing inequality because increasing the demand without increasing the output is just causing inflation. Why this is causing inflation? Because the money is just sucking up to 1% of population, not for the majority because they have no jobs, they have no sustainability of income, and so on and so forth, right? Of course, it is good, but we should understand the distribution process of it, okay? This is the first question. The second, should we imitate the European countries? European countries are destined to fail. Little example, Latvia, Greece, and other countries is different with Germany and France. European countries, creates a regulation that they should follow the same monetary rule, but they have different fiscal conditions. Of course, Germany is able to produce surplus
Is
every
Aceh
time.
stopping? Okay.
Wait. Because European countries is able, oh sorry, my connection I guess, is able to produce surplus in Germany because Germany has highly industrial country while Latvia and Greece not. The problem again that they have no government balance. They have no government balance when you're applying monetary countries because they are currency issuer, not currency users. So when the private sector in deficits and also foreign balance in surplus, it means you have trade deficits. You're unable to solve that problem using your own currency because you're really dependent on ECB, European Central Banks. Imitating that concept is called OCA concept, founded by Robert Mundell. Maybe you can read the letter. It's totally awful, bad, and it is unacceptable in Asian countries like us. European countries, now we can see they are still developed, but later, 10 or 20 years later, they will go into bankruptcy everywhere, including the Greece, Latvia, Finland, and so forth, except Germany and France, I guess. So that's why UK is moving out from European Union. Oh, is that answering your question, maybe, Mr. Shikoneng? Before I will continue to the next part.
Yeah, thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Raji.
Okay. Now to the next part. This is something that have invited by Kibo. Social security program, universal healthcare, free education, job guarantee, push the government toward insolvency problem. Do you agree or disagree with that? When the government creates free program, healthcare programs, and so forth, freely to everyone, it is causing the bankruptcy problem, insolvency problem to the government itself. Do you agree or disagree with that? Anyone want to answer this?
Probably, what do you mean by insolvency problem?
It's like it's time like household. When the government spends more the money to the private domestic sectors to provide job guarantee, individual health care, and so on and so forth, it just causing the government going to bankrupt. Oh, Mr. Afida.
I think that is not a huge problem for our government. I mean, for a country government, because by creating many social security program or perhaps many program that could promote for enhancing our economic and could do many export, it will make our money. I mean our budget of money would be shared to the people 100% efficiently. So it will be good for our government to do this such uh, activity. Thank you.
Nice answer. Kibo.
Yeah, so this is the essential thing too, that the government have to provide the universal healthcare to their people, because when because based on our constitutions, the governments should give, how to say that? It's like what? Oh my God.
Prosperity for all.
Yeah, the prosperity for all. One of them is coming from the health. So it's the reason that even though there is no COVID-19 in these situations, the government you have to responsible for this thing exactly. And also job guarantee is one of their, it's one of the responsibility too to provide for our people. So this is the reason that how to responsible with this, the government have to use a kind of the ways how to how to give the job guarantee itself. One of them is change the constitutions. One of them is omnibus law that we have here before. So yeah, this is kind of the thing that are really this indispensable, especially for our countries. So the question is, it will try to push the government will sink in insolvency problem or not. So it's the reason that we have to use a check and balance, because when the government doesn't manage it well, I suppose that we will go to the insolvency problem. But when the government can get the equilibrium between how to spend a budget and also how to save the budget, I suppose that everything is going to be well. So this is my statement.
Thank you, Gibo. Thank you. Interesting. Eka.
I think it will not causes insolvency because what it will happen, it's like the government doesn't have enough budget to make another program, for example, like infrastructure or exploration, market exploration to the other country. Because in Indonesia cases, for example, like job guarantee, they always every government, every governor, every mayor, and every president, they will promise in their campaign for the job, but the job is just in civil servant. It also causes a lot of our budget, our nation budget, just waste in civil servant gaji, what is it
Wages.
in English?
Wage.
Wages, something like that. So when social security program means, like for me, for example, job guarantee, maybe the government can do cut taxes for the middle and lower business enterprise, so they can make a lot of production, and they can how to say it, like they can employ more employee, something like that. So it's because they just pay low taxes, right? And for universal healthcare, is I think it's what countries should do. They have to recover all the healthcare, but in how do you say it, like for who need it most, because that's what public sector do, right? So that's why there's public sector and private sector. So just for example, there is RSUD, is provide BPJS, and then there is something like Santo Borromeus that doesn't provide BPJS, something like that. So I think it's just not for all, but for who need it most, because that's what the country should cover, something like. Thank you, Aji.
Okay, Eka. And then we have limitation of time. I give you 1.5 minutes to each participant after this. Mr. Ismail Sani, and then Mr. Angga. Mr. Ismail first.
Oh my God. Thank you for 1.5 minutes. Okay, so when it comes to social security, it means it strongly rely on how much people will try to pay for those social security programs. So social security programs rely on uh, uh, a dedicated taxes payroll. So when when the government's unable to stabilize the existence of those taxpayers, so social security program upholding or developing will also stop. So yeah, at the end of the day, the governments need to make sure that the existence of retirees and also those who didn't get a proper jobs, they need to have governments need to change this, need to provide more job guarantee, because as long as this condition didn't change at all, of course, social security programs will likely reach the government and this country so far. And even though the trust will be earned, or also the society will also be happy with that, but it will only create such a bankruptcy, or yeah, insolvent program, because insolvent is like you unable it's the circumstance when you unable to pay your debt in due time. So I think that's for me.
Interesting, Mr. Sani. Okay, the last, Mr. Angga first. 1.5 minutes. Before Mr. Chikoneng, yes.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Aji. I think this is what the government must conduct. This is the obligation of the government, I think, in serving job guarantee, universal health care to the people, and so on. So if the societies have got the safe job, like for example agriculture sector, so they're able to improve the sectors to be used as the income of country, right? As the national income as well, so it is better. And in addition, when the people all of the people are helped, they can run the country productively, I think. And I suppose it is similar to the accusation of liberal economists abuse that abused Venezuela last year, back then, several years ago, when they said that Venezuela was a failed country because last year, in the midst of economic crisis, Venezuela was able to serve subsidies, higher subsidy to the people. And many economists back then said that it was not productive. It could boil people too much. Therefore, Venezuela is being a failed country nowadays. But I suppose it is not. Venezuela is failed because it was embargoed by big countries like US and so on and so forth. So it is not due to they created job guarantee, universal healthcare, and so on, but it was because of the embargo, economic embargo from imperialist countries like US and so on and so forth. Yes, I believe it is very pivotal for the government to do to the people. It is their obligation. Thank you.
Yeah, same like Cuba also. Yes, this indeed interesting. The last, Mr. Chikoneng. 1.5 minutes to you.
Okay, thanks for the opportunity. Yeah, I in the same opinion with the previous speaker that said this is the obligation from the government, and the other hand, that sector is coming from our taxation, especially the tax revenue to government. So this is the obligation the government. But the thing that pushed the government toward insolvency problem is the corruption. So the implementation that for that sector, especially for job guarantee and universal healthcare, should be strengthened by the proper law that always beside that sector. For example, like the small job opportunity, we should pay for that, especially like the police, army, and civil servants too. So the implementation for the job guarantee should be protected by the good law that make it is fair for everyone. And the other hand, the universal health sector, the problem for this country is, I think, from the corruption. No, because yeah, that is the obligation from the government, from the taxation. How we can built this country. When in the other hand, we still have the what's that lemah. What's that? The weak, the weak implementation of law. Every single policy we will make, whatever that is, it will be better or not. So it will be easily to dominate by the oligarchy system instead of that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for all of your opinion. By the way, I will write down the problem of the global south economic problem in my blog in the next day. You can check. The link is on the chat. Okay, and continuing in this belief, I have a lot, but maybe the time is enough until this belief. Okay, this is a fact. Uh, Currency issuing government will never go broke because it can buy everything domestically using its own currency because the government is currency issuer, not currency user. It can buy everything like wasting resources, unemployment, like that. It would be, or the government, it doesn't need to have the tax first in order to spend. That's the basic principle. It means to provide a job guarantee, universal health care, and so on, so forth, free education, so on and so forth. It can be used using its own currency. Everything using its own currency. The government could buy everything. Okay, it's a basic principle because there is a currency issuer. But to enhance this understanding to the policymakers, it needs a time. Yes, we know it needs a time. After we know, every people know that our economic policy, our economic thinking is totally misguided in the mainstream, is misguided. After we've known the real one, we can do this. Moreover, when the president is Kibo and the prime minister, minister of economy is like me, I could do this. It's easy to me. It is possible. We could be the number one in this world. Look at the US back then. The US is the rank number 7 after Roosevelt with his own anti-mainstream economic thinking. US could be number 1 until now because the first job guarantee, adequate wage, and decent living, decent home, medical care free, economic protection during sickness, as all and so forth, good education. That's the key. How we can build up our own country. Of course, with using the good framework called MMT. It's not MMT that is issued, it is proclaimed by Mardigu. He is wrong totally because relying on private sectors, on investment, it is causing the deflation when there is no balance, when there's no offsetting activities with the government, as this that I've proposed in a few brief example before. You should understand the basic understanding of money, why it is accepted, and what is the myth in our economic system. And then after that, we can build up our country to be great again. I have several books that maybe you will be interested. In the very latest way is Deadly Seven, Innocent Fraud by Warren Mosler, or Deficit Myths by Stephanie Carlton, or and so on, so on. Randy Ray, Modern Monetary Theory and Modern Money Theory from Randall Ray, or from Macroeconomics from Bill Michel, and so on and so forth. I will share it in our group, and it's going to be our references. The other, maybe just addition, you don't need to discuss about this because the time is enough. Okay, better, FDI is bad. I will tell it maybe in the next opportunity. Trade deficit is good. In the same case with Mr. Avida, I believe. Okay, this and so on and so forth. Okay, this is all from me. Thank you for having me on as your moderator. I will give my time back to Kibo. Kibo, time is yours. Come back to you.
Wow, thank you so much. It's really amazing topic to blowing our minds tonight. But I suppose there is so much lesson that we can grab, especially for these matters exactly. So it's the reason that we have to give the big clap hand to our moderator tonight.
Myself.
Okay. Thank you for the lesson, IG. I suppose that this is the hardest topics that we ever get, especially in otas communities. Even we have got in the 30 episodes to discuss every single topics that we find. But this is really good. We get something new from that. And yeah, there are the several vocabularies because I really try to comprehend the topics that make me forget to write the several vocabularies that's available, especially in our discussions. So this is the vocabularies that I just write it. Ya, wage, upah, instead of talking about, alih-alih bicara tentang tersuni tadi ya. Interest rate, suku bunga, national income, pendapatan negara, terus berputar, keep cycling, state-owned enterprises, BUMN, natural resource, sumber daya alam, human resource, sumber daya manusia. Yeah, so this is only little thing about, insolvency itu artinya apa ya, kayak bangkrut. Betul kan, Ji?
Yes. Yes.
Ya, jadi masalah kebangkrutan gara-gara banyak spending tuh bahasanya insolvency. Also, this is the new vocabularies for us also insolvency. That sometimes we only use bankrupt, right? But in this case, we can use insolvency, how to enrich our vocabularies well. So this all, guys, for tonight. So see you next week. Oh yeah, we have to take a picture together. So show your camera, please. Kolis, yeah, our new friends from socialist side.
Interesting. 7 Yon.
Kolis, come on, Hasan, Rijal, come on. Let's take a picture together. Yeah,
Later,
this is.
Later we should give more opportunity for the speaker doesn't speak up yet.
Yeah. Cikoneng, come on. Rizal. Oh yeah. Okay, Mr. Cikoneng. Rizal. Okay. Kolis. Salam literasi. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah. Oh, sorry. 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, thank you.
Yes. What is the sign of socialism? Like this? This?
Yeah. Oh, you still in capitalism, man? You have to use the
No.
left hand.
You already moved from the left to the right.
Oh,
Okay,
left to
left.
the right. Okay, so we're going to be on capitalism right now.
Socialist.
Okay.
Yeah, it is too progressive in Thailand, right?
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
See you next week.
The last we say.
Thank you, Haji.
Hello, Ota. Yesterday, said tomorrow. Yes, thank you so much.
Yesterday you said tomorrow.
Yesterday said tomorrow.